Join me to discuss retired Navy Intelligence Commander Paul Chabot. Commander, nice to see you here today. Look, here's my understanding. You can store oil, and Iran has about 2 weeks they can continue to store oil. But at that point, there's no place else to put the oil. And once you stop pumping out of an oil well, you get brackish water in there, they back up. And once an oil well stops like that, it's not like you just go restart it. It doesn't work that way. It's basically a dead well. So Iran is really on the clock here. If the United States continues to enforce a blockade on the majority of ships even coming and going from Iranian ports, it really puts them in a bad position, doesn't it, sir?
You know, it does. And remember, the U.S. Navy, fully capable. We can do this indefinitely. And if you're watching the X comments at a Central Command, they are very targeted in how they're releasing information, keeping up the tempo. So if you look at this, in the last few hours, Central Command put out a tweet showing a 25-second audio message to other ships that either they stay at port or they will basically be attacked or boarded. We've had 9 ships that have complied so far. When we talk about the oil and the storage, Karg Island, which is where about 90% of the Iranian oil moves from, is going to be locked up. And also what we're showing is there's not been a single mine incident thus far. So nobody has seen a mine. We know Iran has thousands of mines they could potentially deploy, but our guided missile cruisers have done a good job clearing and now a good job enforcing this blockade, which, by the way, historically is what navies have been traditionally built to do, to control choke points and control traffic throughout the globe.
Yeah, you know, what the Iranians were demanding was basically pay tribute, pay a toll. It reminds me of the Barbary pirates. Pay your toll, pay your extortion fee, and we'll let you pass. President Jefferson didn't buy that theory. He created the United States Marines and went to Tripoli and killed the pirates. Donald Trump is just blocking it off and saying, yeah, we're not playing that game. We're not paying your extortion fee. And boy, has he turned the tables on the Iranians. A lot of people saying that. Do you agree?
You know, I do, and you mentioned the Tripoli. You know, we have a Marine Expeditionary Unit there, about 2,500 Marines on the USS Tripoli, so very symbolic. CENTCOM put out on their X feed that the U.S. Marines were conducting close-quarter combat operations, and they showed actual still footage of this practicing aboard the USS Tripoli. So it's very symbolic to those of you and I that pay close attention to history. But we also know that we're the most capable Navy in the world, able to do anything that this president basically sets going forward. And right now, with you look at Pakistan has triggered that potentially there are more talks in the way. Iran really has no option. It's either economic collapse or come to the table and negotiate and stick to the terms of what we have said to keep not only the Middle East safe, but the entire world.
Yeah, the numbers seem to be the consensus numbers out there, Commander. $400 million they lost in Iranian exports, and about $200 million coming as imports to that nation. You lose $400 million a day or more. You're talking about $13, $14, $15 billion a month. But again, I come back to those oil wells. If the oil wells get shut down permanently, then you have no way to come back. I mean, that's a couple million barrels a day, 1.8, I think, if I'm reading this correctly. That's a death sentence financially, economically for the nation. How far are they willing to push it?
We shall see. Look, China initially, there was some rumblings that they were providing some weaponry to Iran. We know Russia's been providing intelligence to Iran. We know today that China has signaled to Trump that they are not providing weapons to Iran, which tells us that China is feeling this economic pressure, and Iran is becoming more and more isolated. When they begin to lose China publicly, which is one of their biggest traders, one of their biggest allies, if you will, that really signals a major turning point. And we need China to come on board. We know their economy is hurting. We know they're not the best friends of the United States. However, to have them see the strength of the United States, the Trump policies right now working in the Middle East, shows that we hold the cards going forward.
All right. Commander Paul Chabot, Always appreciate your experience and your insights, sir. Thank you for stopping in today.
My pleasure. Thank you.